Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope all is well with you on this day. We all consider this day to be a new year. Well, I'm just thankful to be here. This is a black screen message, true enough, but I was just sitting up and I was just thinking because I was listening back to some of my videos last night and due to the fact that I know sooner or later I may not have phone service, so I'm going to post as many videos as I can before the end of this month because I really want people to know not only my story, but I want people to know some additional truth about the system, about individuals, and how long things has been going and leading people astray. So I was just consulting with my father. You know, we always talk about Satan. We talk about Lucifer, Baal, Astro, all those demons, right? And we also talk about the archangels and we talk about gods. We know it's a good and a bad. It's light and dark. It's a mixture, right? So out of all the things that I've been through and the things that the Most High been sharing with me, actually there is no Lucifer. There is no Lucifer. There is no Satan. There is no Jezebels. There is no none of that. Because see what I have, but there is a Most High. There is a Most High within each and every last one of us. And not only that, we know that there is a higher power. Okay? Now, but my spirit is telling me the individuals are just that. It's just how that individual proceed to carry themselves. Because see what I see as being Satan, Satan is a spirit. But what I would see as Lucifer really, from what I know, Lucifer really wasn't a bad person. Okay? Even though we know how the storyline went. But however, there are evil people in this world, evil minded. They're not evil, but they are choosing to be on that particular path of just being hateful. It's not evil, they're just hateful. Okay? Um, so I just wanted to check in with Spirit real quick because not only is I'm having a black screen message, I'm also sitting in the dark a little bit. So I'm going to use this other phone to just give me just a little light so we can consult with the Most High real quick this morning on this new year. The time is currently 6:51. All right, 6:51. And I'm also going to look at that number, okay? And we're going to look that number up as well at the end of this message just to see what Spirit is saying to me, okay? Because it's a reason why he got me speaking at that on this topic at 6:51 a.m. on January the 1st, which is a Thursday. All right? So give me just a second. Let me turn the light on this other device. And if any of you guys are interested in a personal message, I will appreciate any help that I can get right now, just so I can sustain some form of income. All right. So most of I was just sitting up here. We were sitting up here talking about um, Lucifer and Satan. Certain things are spirits, certain things are supposed to be perceived as being such. But uh, I personally don't feel that it ever was a Lucifer, just an individual individual who had high power. Not only did they have high power, they had they had money. Okay, they had money. Now the first card Spirit is showing me is a four swords. Four swords that talks about rest, right? Okay, that talks about rest, rejuvenate. Okay, it talks about contemplate. Okay, and when you think of the four cards, four swords, that's like that stillness. All right, if you look at a tarot card of the original tarot, you know that somebody is actually just laying there, right? They're laying there, they're just at peace, right? Okay, the second card we have here, it lines in with what I was kind of saying about they have money, all right? They have money because we have here the Ten of Coins. Somebody in wealth, right? Somebody with wealth, okay? I haven't seen a devil card come out yet, right? I haven't seen no negative card come out yet, right? Okay. So most times we still talking about what we was talking about when we was saying about Lucifer and these evils, the evil works. It's just the evil works. All right. We have a King of Swords that talks about that mental clarity. So I feel Spirit is in agreement. Not only mental clarity, the King of Swords also is a person that can have some authority, right? And did I not speak that? Somebody in a higher power. Okay? I see the Empress card is even coming out here. Okay? And that right there, that's somebody who also have some form of authority. Okay? All right? And then we have here a Page of Cups. So with the Page of Cups coming out here, that right there, that talks about somebody having some type of compassion, right? That's somebody who has some form of charm, right? Okay, so I still haven't seen a devil card come out here, so I'm really convinced. Okay, all right, but we've been made to believe that these harshful things that goes on is because of these particular spirits, but it's not. It's coming from actual individuals. All right. So I'm convinced, especially with what I've seen here. Now, somebody could be in my energy, kind of twerking my message, but either way it go, whether they in my energy or not, this message is still lining up with what I'm saying. Okay. So I feel that things are gonna get better eventually. Okay. All right. Because once people really kind of see the ins and out of things, things can become better. Okay? So I always, that's why I like to joke in my message when I be like talking about Lucifer, Malak, Jezebel. Because I know it's not no such thing. It could be an individual, okay, that have that same type of mindset as those characters, okay? And then they allow themselves to be labeled as such. Okay, that's what I see there. So Spirit, let's go a little deeper. This, even though the cards are not coming out the way that I would have thought they would have came out, but what I'm saying is still lining up. And there goes the star card. Okay, now that right there speaks volume, because that right there, that talks about what faith holds. Okay, that talks about healing. That talks about spirituality. And we're talking about the spiritual things, right? Because if you think about angels and demons, those are spiritual things, right? Okay. And so I really feel spirit is in agreement with what I'm saying here. So we have to break that wall down. People have to break that wall down because I already done broke that wall down because I don't think like other people think. All right. And then we have the emperor coming out here. All right. That's somebody in law, order, father figure, okay, or mother figure. It just depending on how their energy is with that individual. Okay. All right. Tell me one more here, spirit, because we're talking about how the world has the people mind set as all these things are these particular spirits, okay? And we know they're not, okay? We have the Seven of Cups coming out there. Now, the Seven of Cups, it can line up with just this illusions, okay? Having a lot of people and a lot of illusions, all right? It also can talk about choices or opportunities. They had the opportunity to fool the world. They made the choice to fool the world in a what? A whole lot of illusions when it comes to when things are bad, when things are tough, when things are not going right, when things are shifting and knowing that it was more behind the scenes, okay? And we have the Eight of Cups, all right? That means moving on to calmer waters, okay? And I feel that's exactly what's going to eventually happen. The action is going to be taken. So what? The people can move on to calmer waters. Okay? All right. Tell me something else here, Spirit. Tell me something here, Spirit. That's why I always say what I say. I be like, Lucifer, what you doing, Lucifer? Because I know I'm actually talking to an individual. I ain't talking to a spirit. But it's an individual in this world, okay, that has that authority, okay, to try to manipulate people's lives. All right? That's really what I see now. Okay? It's all about control. All right? It's all about control. But the thing about it, some of these people we probably would see on a daily basis and not knowing the type of spirit that they are carrying because everybody has, as long as you are living, you have a spirit within you. And I consider that spirit to be what? Your soul. It's depending on what type of soul an individual is carrying. Because if the soul and the mind and the heart is not in alignment, okay, it can go either type of way. It can be a good soul inside of a good hearted person. It can be a bad soul inside of a corrupted hearted person. It just depending on how that individual decide they want to align themselves. Okay? So, Spirit, what else we got here? And then we're going to end this on this new year. Bring in not only a new year, but bring in a new thought to shift your mind. All right? Stop looking at everything as, oh, that's the work of the devil. Don't claim that. That's the work of that was. Put it in past tense. Start speaking in past tense when it comes to these things so we can break this mess on down more and more. Do you hear me? They say that was. All right? Stop keeping everything as if it's in the present when we know that this stuff was supposed to be stopped a long time ago. Because if you read your book like y'all say y'all read, that so-called unholy Bible, you will know the time was supposed to end. And I feel the time is here. But you as an individual, you're gonna have to take control over the power that you have within yourself to conquer. Okay? So, Spirit, let's end this. We see a chariot. Okay? Now, that chariot, that talks about a journey. That talks about success. Okay? It can't even talk about a victory. Or it can talk about somebody's travel. And here we have the hermit. A Harmon is a divine individual that's kind of like uh, supposed to be somebody that's supposed to be wise. Okay, not only wise, this is a person that kind of be in solitude to themselves sometimes. All right, they supposed to be a spiritual leader, not to carry people in the wrong way, but to carry people in the right way. Okay, knowing they already know the truth for themselves, but they would choose to hide the real truth just to conquer their own personal agenda. Okay, we cannot look, even though I'm at the point now I don't have no money, and I'm constantly trying to seek out to get people to at least uh, believe in me enough to at least allow me to offer them my service. Okay, but I know the Most High gonna make a way out of no way. But at the same time, I know time is a ticking, and I'm gonna put out as much information as I can to try to help people before I will no longer be able to utilize my phone to at least try to help people, because that's all I'm trying to do, you guys. Because see, it was a deadline. And the United States and this whole world know it was a deadline. And then they know that the time is already here. We have a Six of Cups, all right? Six of Cups that talks about the past, right? It talks about the past. It also can talk about reunions, okay? It can talk about certain things, but the point of it is, you guys, we're not in the past no more. We're not. The past ways should be gone with the past. The past things should not continue to keep going, not only in our now and not only in our future. The past things are past for a reason, to be stayed back there in the past. It don't make no sense. It's 2025 and we still have all this corruption going on because of who? Man or woman. Those type of vessels. It's time for people to start living in the right way. If you can't stand to live in the right way, then get some help so you can live in the right way without the usage of anything to manipulate, without the illusions. Allow people to be able to see clearly now. Start telling people the truth. Let's close the spirit. Let's close. And the final card we got is a Five of Swords. Because we all been deceived. People have been deceived. And it's time for people to stop being deceived. It's enough of this. It done gone on since even us, even before anybody who living to this day. This stuff been going on. It's time for it to cease. And it can be ceased. It can be stopped. Because what? We know that there is an individual who can easily clear it all out. And I believe that person gonna do just that. Clear this mess on out the way. Because we tired of fooling with it. Because enough is enough. Five of Swords. Not only do you have the Five of Swords, you have the Two of Swords. Because what? It's time for them to go on and make the correct choice. Not only the correct choice, it's time for them to make a decision that, okay, it's time for us to what? Surrender. Surrender to the Most High, and we're going to leave this mess alone because it's written. They do have a destined time that they supposed to what? Have peace. Not only have peace, they supposed to have prosperity. Not only have prosperity, they supposed to have abundance. Not only that, they was here to be able to live freely without all this extra nonsense. Now I said I want to look up 651. So let's look at 651. Let's see why Spirit brought that to my attention. Give me just a second. I'm going to have to pause for just a second. Okay, so we're coming back, you guys. And I told you that I was going to talk about 651. All right. So, hold on. I just hit the wrong button. Hold on, y'all. I just hit the wrong button. Give me just a second here. I thought I was going to come back in and go on and say what I was wanting to say, but then my little fat finger hit the wrong button. Okay. All right, 651. It says it signifies positive changes, personal growth, and embracing new opportunities. Now, that's not what I was just now talking about, right? It says blending things and material needs, okay? Adaptability, freedom. Do you hear me? Freedom. It says, and new beginnings, urging you to trust your divine guidance for a more fulfilling, abundant life by letting go of what? Old habits and staying open to what? Transformation. Do you hear me? And then it says here, it's a message to what? Align your practical life with spiritual growth for manifesting your dreams. Do you hear me? So I hope somebody is in agreement with what I'm saying this morning. Because I see the universe is definitely, indeed, they are in agreement of what I'm saying this morning. Okay, I'm even going to go a little further. We're going to talk about these numbers individually. It says the number 6 represents what? Home, family, providing, material needs, responsibility, and service. Okay, number 5. Number 5 signifies major life changes, freedom, adventure, adaptability, and personal growth without any interference. And then you go to number 1. It points to new beginnings, creation, leadership, independence, and stepping into what? Your power. Okay? So I hope this right here message will help you guys. Because not only is this a new year, you need to change your thinking. Because now, it ain't no Satan, it ain't no Lucifer. It's the individuals. And stop using current words and start putting this stuff in past tense. Wars. Talk to you later.